Hey, so I'm here with Curt Leininger. Many of you might recognize him as he's been up here at Awaken visiting us before. And Curt is on staff at the Plant, a church down in Mahwah, New Jersey. And Curt, if you could just tell us a little bit about your daughter Lucy and the school that she attends. We'll just jump right into it.
Sure, yeah. Lucy is 4 years old. She is, in a lot of ways, our beautiful little mystery. She's on the autism spectrum, so every day, every week is a little different with her, and she's growing and developing, and we're discovering a lot of things about her. But yeah, through our town, she attends every day, full day, a special services program that helps her work through just the unique issues that are part of her life.
And now, we've been talking, and you shared a story about how there was a rift that's recently developed between the school and the parents of the students there. Could you talk a little about that rift?
Yeah, so it all really comes down to just budget, and there's only so much money for programs across the district's school programs, and so they're kind of making cuts really all over the place, and some of that is affecting the special services. And so the school board, the director of special services, the superintendent, they've had to make some hard decisions. As parents, it's easy sometimes to take that personally and think that maybe they have a personal vendetta against these kids with special needs, and there's just this us versus them kind of division that really set up. And yeah, those things can get really ugly really fast.
I could imagine. And so, you know, in the middle of this, you had mentioned that you and your wife, Nicole, were trying to ask the question of how could your family be the presence of Christ in the midst of this rift? And so how have you guys begun to answer that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So really the first thing we did is my wife and I took time and we called the superintendent, we called the director of special services, and some of the school board members, and we just said to them, hey, we understand that these are hard decisions for you guys, and we support you. We want to join with you in thinking creatively how we can handle this. We don't see this as you deliberately doing something against us. They were very, they really welcomed that. They really appreciated that. It was something different from what they were used to hearing. But then we also began to say to some of the parents too, like, hey, maybe this is an opportunity for us to kind of pick up the slack a little bit and creatively work through things, and maybe where some programs need to be cut, there's some new things for us as parents to learn about some things that we can be doing to help fill in the gap. And so it's been wonderful. I mean, even a lot of the parents have said to us, like, thank you for being a breath of fresh air in the midst of this, you know, that this isn't an all-out loss for us as parents. So we just really felt, you know, like instead of joining in the us versus them thing, how can we begin to cultivate something new and bring some hope to a situation that really felt like a place of despair?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. We've recently gone through the Beatitudes as a church, and so that idea of blessed are the peacemakers has really stuck out to me. This idea that we don't, as followers of Jesus, we don't want to continue widening that gap between sides, but how can we work to lessen the gap? So I just love hearing that and actually seeing it in action.
Yeah.
And so what's been the response that you've gotten from doing that, from both the school and then from the parents as well?
Yeah, so yeah, the response has been very favorable. Like I said, a lot of thank yous from the administration. A lot of parents just thank yous for the hope that you're giving us, you know, that this isn't necessarily have to be an all-out horrible thing.
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to actually build a new group now where parents can come together on a regular basis, but also administration can come and we can just talk together. We can begin to creatively think of ways that we can meet some of the needs that our children have. And so it's exciting to think about the future, what can be cultivated as we move forward with this new group that we'll bring together of meeting regularly.
That's just, I mean, that's fascinating. So just the fact that even though there was kind of a death and a dead end somewhere, there's still all this new opportunities and new potentials that are being birthed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's just, I love that. So for us at Awaken, what is the number one piece of advice that you could give us just for being aware of some of these opportunities that might arise?
Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be something where you have to go out and like turn over a bunch of rocks to like look for these opportunities. Really, chances are there are things happening right around you. Maybe they're little things, maybe they're big things where you're seeing hostility, division, anxiety, worry, and it's just an opportunity for us to just pull close to those situations and display something different. Where there's anxiety, that we would be people who display trust and peace. Where maybe there's hostility, we could be people who step in and say, hey, rather than add to the us versus them chasm that's there, how can we stand in the middle?
Yeah.
And rather than having to choose a side, how can we say to both, like, hey, we believe that you're both really trying to work through this, and how can we maybe bring you together to do this? So just being aware of, those situations that are all around, just look for those situations, like I said, of anxiety or a hostility, division, whatever it is, and then just say, Jesus, how can I step in the middle of that and display something different and bring the hope and the peace of Christ into the middle of it?
That's great. That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.